Okay, here we are. We've moved up to the bombardier section. What you need to do before you start on it, you need to go ahead and remove the the main cockpit out so we can see everything. And anytime you do this, you should have it all trial fitted and ready to go in, and not install it until after you've got all your flight controls and everything else done. But anyway, moving back up here to the front, the first thing we want to do is, like I've told you before, is I've sealed all my seams with the goop that I use. There's different glues, but the goop stays G-O-O-P, and you can use different ones. I use it, and it seals these seams up, so we won't ever have a problem in the future. Next thing I want to do is, they talk about in instructions of having to put weight in the front of the plane. Well, the only place to do it, if you leave it untouched, is to the side pieces here. I've already painted them black because I've already installed the cockpit, but I'm going to go back and show you how I've done it. Anyway, would be to tape them to the sides, or stick them to the sides, and you always have a chance of them falling and laying it in the bottom down here. So what I did was, I want to tie, like I said before, anything in front of the CG is just a bonus for you. That way you don't have to add as much weight. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to put a floor in here, and the way I found the easiest to do it is, I made some slats in here. These are an 1/8 inch thick aircraft ply by about a 1/2 inch wide, and they're about a 4 1/4 inch long. And I have put 5 of them in there from the former that's right from the first former back up to the front former, and I just spaced them out just however far I felt I needed. There's no particular thing. Okay, and then what I did was, I took a piece of aircraft ply. This is 1/8 inch, and it's 12 inches long, and it's 3 11/16 inch wide. You want it to be a nice snug fit in here. But anyway, with these slats glued to the bottom of the flat pieces that come forward, they're on each side. If you just glue them to that, that will give you a support for this floor. But anyway, this will slide in, and the good thing about it is being 12 inches long, it makes it flush across the front here. It not only ties the next former in, it ties all 3 formers in. Okay, so now you have a floor that goes all the way back up underneath the main cockpit. Alright, once you get that done, you can glue this in place. I did come in here, and there was a little tiny piece of wood that came about an 1/8 inch higher, and I just cleaned that off to where it was flush. And I also cut the there was a bar that went across here, and I cut that off also, so it's flush. It goes straight up. Alright, once you get that done, installing the front is very easy. There is a ABS piece. This was the floor where the chair would sit in. Okay, all you have to do is cut it out to where it will slide into the front here. Okay, and it'll just slide right there. I've seen pictures. Some of them were wood. This was supposed to simulate wood with the interior green, and the rest of it was metal. Anyway, you just paint that up with the brown and then the interior green. I painted the sides black here because we really can't get to matching the sides, so I'm trying to give an illusion that it goes further back in there. Anyway, that's easy to put in place. Alright, I made a ring to cover up all of this so you just don't see the wood. This fits nicely in place. The only thing I had to do is, there's tiny little tabs. There's 4 of them, and I had to cut about an 1/8 inch off of each one of them. And you have to be careful that you don't cut down through the fuselage side. And what I'll do is eventually glue this in place, but it just slides in. Now, you can cut this to a 1/4 inch on the outside, but you need to leave the full thickness that you can on the inside. This is a 1/2 inch. And what this will do, it'll come in here. It's a tight fit. This will tie the floor in to the front. It'll glue right underneath there. And that's how that front end's done. Alright, 2 other things you have. You have the, it's a remote control. It's a piece of white resin piece. This would be the remote control for the guns underneath. it's got a 1/4 inch dowel glued to the back of it, and there'll be a piece of aluminum tube supplied. And what you do, if you look on a lot of pictures, it was kind of turned sideways, so you just have to drill your hole in and put the the aluminum tube. I would bend this first and then figure out what the length you need. But I came down here and I drilled a hole that went all the way through, and this allows, just takes, because you got 2 holes there. Anyway, this allows that to go in place, and it just, when they weren't using it, just swung over to the side. Okay, that's just not holding into the right hole. Also, I did a Norden bomb sight. It may not be dead nut scale. You can add to it if you want. But when you get it, it'll be in 2 pieces. It'll be in 2 pieces. There is a 1/4 inch dowel that you have to put in here. And then on the bottom of the gun sight, or the bomb sight, there's another dowel. This just sets right down on it and glue it in place. You can make it however high you want. Also, there's another dowel. It was the lens they looked through. It was hard to make it with it on there, so I made a hole for it, just a piece of dowel to slide in place, and you just paint it black. Okay, that will be glued right here on the front, and you will probably have to put a toothpick or something there to support this, because this is a heavier piece of resin. Okay, and that will go right there. And see, all this fits inside the nose really nicely, and you can see in there. I also have a chair that I made. I will go get the chair together and get the parts and show you how the chair is put together, and it actually fits, should be glued right here on top of this piece. The legs will be glued on there. But anyway, let me get that together, and I'll come back and show you how I put the chair together. Okay guys, here we have the chair. Here's my finished chair. It turned out pretty neat. I think it did pretty well. Anyway, what I've done is, and I'm going to show you how to put it together pretty quick. When you get it on the ABS, on the plastic, you'll see a base, and it'll be on a bigger piece of plastic. You have to cut it out all the way around. There'll also be a top that's smaller. You have to cut it out also. All right. What we do to make the back here, because if you just glued it on a straight piece, it would be too far forward. So what I do to make, you can see how that's got a bend in it. All I do is, there'll be extra plastic supplied. All I do is take a piece of plastic, cut it to the width of the notch. There's a notch in the back of the seat bottom, and all you do is take a piece of the plastic. And now this is where the modeler's glue, or the tester's glue, or the model master's glue comes in. You put a decent little small bead across here, and what we're going to do is going to take and cut the width out twice. 2 pieces the same width, and we're going to stick those together. And what this glue does is as it joins, it also kind of melts the 2 into each other. So we're going to let those just set just for probably about a minute or so. But once they set up like that, all you have to do is grab a hold of it, and you can tell that it's kind of melted it, and you just take and you just bend it just like that. Okay, and you kind of overbend it, and it'll come back and it makes a slight Z. Okay, just do that once or twice. Now if you'll just set that there and leave it, it will eventually harden up to that shape. Okay, and you can see how I've come in here, and it has come in here and maintained that shape, plus it's got rigid again after the glue set up. Okay, there's 2 of these chairs that you have to make. One is for the bombardier section, and that's the easier one, because all you have to do, because you're not going to see the back of it, all you have to do is put a small piece of 1/8 inch plywood in there, and then glue this piece here to the back, and then to the back of the chair seat. This is the first one. I think it's a little bit short on the back. That's why I came back and moved this one up higher. This one actually stands off to the center of it. Well, if you say to the very top of it, from the base to the top here is 1 1/8 inch, and I think that actually looks better. Okay, once you get this made, we'll move down to making the legs.